And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Esports League Iberian League brought to you by Prozis. If you just joined us, we just had two best of five series that were completely different from each other. Also, my name is Alson AC Silva, and I'm joined here by Max Formal, Von Newman to bring you all the action in and out of the Rocket League playing fields. Now, EC4 versus Canyons, 3-1 on the board, and the Canyons were pretty dominant, I would say, but EC4 kind of kept up the pace here.
Yeah, exactly. I think keeping up with the pace is the correct way of putting it because they could keep up with the Canyon speed. And at times, as well, they admitted themselves, it kind of caught them a little bit off guard that EC4 were able to play at that level. Now, EC4, they still made a couple unfortunate mistakes. Sometimes they didn't get that right hit on the ball. Sometimes they completely missed the ball. And the Canyons were usually there to punish each and every time. However, for EC4, I think that was a very promising result. The fact that they could go toe-to-toe with the Canyons for, I'd say, 90% of those games. They even took a game off of them, and it was a game well earned. So I think EC4 definitely is not going to be a team to sleep on. I'm curious to see how they'll go against some of those other contenders, one of which we're going to see right here in SUPRMODE, as well as Los Hombres de Paco, the other contender team. I'm going to be very curious on those matchups. I think these Spain versus Spain games are going to be very fast, very furious, and a lot of fun to watch.
Absolutely. We have the tweet integration here from Mendo Coach as he says they're about to start their game as well. And they're about to play. So Chico Grande, hashtag Chico Grande. Yeah, hashtag Chico Grande. Here we go. You know, the game we're playing, SUPRMODE versus Weedham Bots, the first actual Iberian matchup between Portuguese team and a Spanish.
Yeah, exactly. And this is sort of like where I'm hoping things really get electric because this is sort of what the spirit of this league is about, taking these two countries and pitting them against each other. Now, we dem bots, it's an interesting first team for Portugal to be put in this sort of matchup because it is sort of that group of friends, no real org
Yeah.
associated with them. They have that amazing name, but then you're up against SUPRMODE, who has been playing with each other actually for a very long time. Now, they don't always get the best results, but they're always getting consistent results and they're always playing in like all these tournaments. So they should be used to sort of this competitive environment. It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. It's, oh, there's another message up there.
Oh, hello. We have another one coming in. If Genki is here, another tweet integration. We're going hard on these tweets, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to tweet at us, don't forget to add in the hashtag IB League. Oh, and there you go. You're gone.
Oh my goodness. You gotta love remote broadcasting and you gotta love Australia. They're two things that just go hand in hand for a pleasant experience.
Right. Regardless, the tweet that we have on screen is from SUPRMODE themselves, SUPRMODE Gaming, and says hashtag Rocket League. We are about to start the IB League by Esports League. This first series are going to play against the Bots, the Portuguese team. I'm trying to translate as soon as I'm reading as well. So please, pardon my English. So they hope that they'll make things difficult for them. It's not something I would hope, I'd hope they'd make things easier for me if I was a team playing, but to each their own. But we as casters do hope that it is going to be a close matchup. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, look, I hope that we beat them would be what I would go for, or we hope that they don't make things too difficult for us because we are going to crush them. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting approach in that one. Still, you love to see the Twitter gang. I'm hoping that all these teams really pick it up and like we get to see the meme wars because meme wars can be just as fun as the action on the pitch. So I'm rooting for the meme wars. So I want to see which team has the best meme game at the end of it.
We're also ready to start off the second best of five, the third actual best of five series between SUPRMODE and the Bots. But before we get into the pitch, we have a sponsor process. So stay tuned for that as we head into game number 3. Short messages from the sponsors. Game or series number 3 is live now with Bots as the orange team and SUPRMODE on the blue side, and you already have one goal from SUPRMODE.
Yeah, SUPRMODE able to find a quick goal right there. That was Rubix with the pass to the Gooch, who passes it right on back. A one-touch pass, as I like to call them. Rubix able to find the back of the net right there. Great pass play coming from SUPRMODE as they take that 1-0 lead.
Again, remind this best of 5 series as all the games in this league are or have been so far. So already 1-0, and we still have 4 minutes left to play. SUPRMODE super aggressive, but great defense coming in from Rip.
Yeah, I mean, right now it has been a very tight game for We Dem Bots, as they've been on the back foot for a lot of it. It's been the solo plays actually coming from SUPRMODE, setting up a lot of the attacks and doing for these tight passes in the box, although that time it was actually a little bit of a misplay by the defense that lets that one in.
They get a huge bump off of Boomquick, but they still allow him to go in with the ball. They tried to bounce it back, but they actually managed to get an own goal. Oh boy.
As I was saying, it was a huge misplay by the defense right there. Rip just came ripping on through and kind of knocked it in. Now, I thought he bounced it back off of Rubik's in that one, but no, that really wasn't the case. He just smacked that one straight into the back of the net, and that's pretty much a disaster right there for We Bots. They nearly find one right back, and they do, as Mystic is able to sneak it past the defense. So a proper game, we will have 2-1 the score.
2-1 to score. The biggest difference that I see in terms of game styles between these two teams is the fact that We Them Bots seem to be a lot more grounded on their game style.
Absolutely, but that said, a strong ground game can be quite effective still, especially when defenses double commit in the goal and leave half of the net wide open, which was the case on that last shot right there. Here's a bit of an aerial play, however, coming from We Dem Bots. However, no one's underneath to catch that pass, so Boomquick should be able to get a nice clear.
Nobody on the defense, however, Rip is already there. Will he score another own goal, but managed to clear it out this time around? Still on the offense. SUPRMODE goes back. There's the Cowboy Yeehaw, tries to knock the ball back into the field of... of We Them Bots. Gets the shot up, but doesn't quite get it in.
Rubik's is now Mr. Cowboy Yeehaw. I like that. Dragon in a slump. Couldn't quite get it out of the corner, so Mystic will be the next man forward. It has a bit of a breakaway. Gooch is going to be able to go back right there. Going to clear it across and over the box, catching his own clear. And again, going for a solo play. We Dem Bots, they really like it going for these solo clear attempts, but every time they pass it, as you see right there, it's been a lot more effective. Boomquick going to drop the ball in the box, looks for his second touch, but Dragon in a slump is able to make the save and clear himself.
Gooch presets the bounce of the ball, tries to get it on his own side, but great play coming in from We Them Bots. Look at the Cowboy Yeehaw, tries to go in for the corner, but a huge save from Dragonina Slump.
And Dragon in a slump also gets a nice clear as well. Gooch unable to recover it in time, so we do get an orange side attack. Asian Rubik's throwing in the corner to slow the pace down, and no one went to challenge in the corner. You saw right there, We Dem Bots, their spacing wasn't too great. They got next to each other. They were each rotating back, but it forces an overcommit from the SUPRMODE side, and Mystic hits his second goal of the game.
If it looks wrong, but it works, is it actually wrong? Great cross play by Mystic and Rip to get in the second goal of this game, of their team, the fourth goal of this game, and tie up the scoreboard.
I think that's just the case of two wrongs make a right there, as SUPRMODE kind of did the exact same as We Dem Bots did and double committed and found themselves just at the same part of the pitch. And good job by We Dem Bots. They were able to capitalize and punish SUPRMODE for that. However, they're back on defense. Shot from Rubik's goes a little bit wide. Mystic waiting in the corner. Mystic's definitely been the star of this team so far. He's been playing at that next level right now for We Dem Bots, and if he continues to play at like a higher caliber to everyone else, I expect to see more solo plays from him, and maybe he even taking this series over. That said, Gooch with the pass to Rubik's will find the goal. No one in the box on defense.
No one in the box on defense. I do believe that is the hat trick coming in from Rubik's. Actually, no, you have Boomquick with one goal, so he's one off the hat trick. But still, great coordination on that offense from the SUPRMODE team to get the lead on game number 1.
Dragon in a slump, his defensive effort right there, I don't know if it was brilliant or just like completely out of his control. Oh my gosh, that kickoff nearly turns into a quick goal for SUPRMODE. They're unable to finish it just yet, but Gooch will keep the backward pressure on. Rip able to throw it to the corner, but Gooch is waiting. Of course he is. Going to try and throw it back across to the other side. Boomquick off the backboard, pass for the third man. Shots on target. Boomquick steals the goal away.
I mean, a lot of this coordination coming in from We Them Bots on this defensive line now. When the things start getting nitty gritty, they just can't seem to find the tempo to keep up with these high-paced plays from SUPRMODE. So 4-2 on the score, 1.5 minutes left to play.
Yeah, what SUPRMODE's doing really well actually is just attacking from two sides at once. There's always someone in each of those alleyways to keep that offensive pressure in. That does leave the middle of the pitch exposed, however. But this time it's the middle of the pitch for WDB bots that finds themselves exposed, as Rubix was able to get the pinch and take it for the distance. Those are the best feeling goals when you get them in solo queue, I must say.
Okay, I mean, I didn't expect that goal to go in. I mean, that was a huge offensive gap there for WDB bots.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't expecting that pinch to be hit at that angle either. That was an absolutely fantastic and filthy pinch from Rubix, but a 3-goal lead, about a minute remaining, and more offensive pressure being put on by this blue side. This is sort of what I was expecting in this matchup, unfortunately. SUPRMODE, they've had a couple of unforced errors, but so far in this one, they've kind of controlled pretty much every aspect of this game.
Kind of, pretty much. They try to go in, get the bounce off the crossbar. As you see Dragon in a slump, bounce it over the SUPRMODE squad. Tries to get an offensive play going, but it's so hard to get it off their side.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, similar to what we saw in that first game, that mid-pitch control, just not letting the other team get any offensive pressure established. And when it looks like they're going to get something, you make sure to blow them up for those troubles. And that just enables situations like this. Why is everyone in the corner for WDB bots? That's going to be punished immediately as Rubix just takes it straight in.
Okay. I mean, yeah, everybody just stacked in the corner. It's like they were trying to contest the boost all at once. And absolute amazing capitalization from SUPRMODE to punish WDB bots for their mispositioning there.
Yeah, that's just a breakdown in communication right there. You guys have to establish your rotations, call out to the rest of the team where you are so you don't just wind up driving up each other's bumpers. That was a complete breakdown. Now, granted, they were already in a desperate situation, and this game hasn't gone their way, as Dragon in a slump kind of gets himself out of that slump with a late second goal, but definitely a very interesting third game. Very different from what we saw in our past two right now. Definitely a lot more chaotic right now, and SUPRMODE seems to be thriving in that chaos.
Absolutely. Even though there are glimpses of greatness coming in from WDB bots as well. 1 second left. The ball is still airborne. Rule 1, don't let the ball hit the ground. But let's see how it goes. As another goal comes in, no, not enough distance. SUPRMODE take game number 1.
I'm taking offense to your definition of what you just called Rule 1. I am a firm believer of the bumper-to-bumper Rule 1, as said by Rocket League on their Twitter in the poll. Bumper-to-bumper Rule 1. All you out there, come fight me. I'm down in Australia. It means you're going to have to fly over here, and I ain't paying for your tickets, and our country's on lockdown. So
I'm swimming.
Oh, boy. Are you going to go to the Atlantic or the Pacific?
Which way? Haven't decided yet. We'll see. We'll see.
Actually, no, it'd be more like the Indian. Because, oh yeah, if you go down the Atlantic and then through the Indian Ocean, you can get on the East Coast, or you go Atlantic to Pacific. Each of those are going to be tough. Either way, though, a good win for SUPRMODE in this one. This was a game of a lot of solo play, a lot less team play. Granted, when the passes did come through for SUPRMODE, I felt they had a lot more success with them. Yeah. So I'm hoping to see more passes in this, but they definitely have had the speed advantage. They've had that mid-pitch play and able to keep these offensive rotations going. And WDB bots, it's kind of similar to the Bulls, kind of similar to For the Win, but even to a more extreme extent, when they're put under pressure, they just overcommit, things break down, and SUPRMODE, as long as they can keep those offensive rotations going, I think they're going to be feeling very good about this series.
I agree. So game 1's in the books. We have a lead for SUPRMODE, but it is a frail lead. WDB bots showed some good signs of being able to bring the game over to SUPRMODE, but I don't know. It's hard to say with just one game in the books. Maybe WDB bots need to, or they have a lot more room to improve. We talked about this in the beginning of our broadcast. That's defense from Dragon in slump. We talked about this in the beginning of our broadcast, how they're virtually a mixed team that came together for this tournament. So they still have a lot more synergy. They still have a lot more room to work on synergies, and they open up the scoreboard against SUPRMODE.
Yeah, SUPRMODE, again, they find themselves in awkward defensive positionings right there. I think they were expecting a better clear, as they had already sent someone down to collect the pass, and A bit over aggressive, a bit overzealous, and pretty easy to punish for WDB bots. So a quick goal going to this orange side, and maybe that can start the comeback, start that momentum. However, a bad kickoff could be pretty devastating. Gooch with the ball through. He put that shot a little too high, and Boom Quick was too far pushed forward. So now it's a race back on defense for SUPRMODE.
Two back-to-back amazing defenses from WDB bots. I mean, completely different. Oh, at least it looks like a completely different team from game number one. Maybe they've just been inspired. They were just testing the limits of SUPRMODE, see what they were able to do, and now they're reacting accordingly.
SUPRMODE's also playing very differently from how they played the first game. They're playing much further forward. They're playing much more aggressive, and they kind of got punished for it a couple times now. They're not getting that mid-pitch control. They're trying to like push it forward. In particular, Rubik's actually, that's twice. He's been pushing too far up the pitch and having the ball just sail over his head and going for a deeper play. They need to go back to what was working for them and just play a little bit further back. However, this is a good counterattack. This should turn into a goal. The shot from Gooch actually is saved. What a play from Dragon in the slump.
Dragon in a slump with a huge defense. He already had another player from SUPRMODE on the rebound, ready to take it, but not allowed. I mean, great clear from WDB bots. Now Gooch is on the defense, trying to get the ball rolling on to their side again. They have control of the ball. Mystic is there to stop them in their tracks, tries to get the second touch, doesn't quite get it.
Mystic has still probably been the most impressive player for me on WDB bots so far. He's just been playing a bit faster. He's been going for more challenges. That was a fantastic save. And Dragon in Slump has now been the player that's been most impressive for me on WDB bots.
Okay.
Especially in this. Now, look, game number one, it was the Mystic show. Game number two actually has been Dragon in Slump stepping up. He's had some pretty great mechanical defensive plays at this stage. Some very clutch saves. They just need to come together as a team. At the moment, though, they do have this lead, so WDB bots definitely making it interesting right now. I still feel like SUPRMODE, though, is on the cusp of scoring a quick one right back.
They're trying to rebound it up the crossbar. Don't quite get anybody in position with enough boost to actually make it work. Yeah, Boom Quick going through the air, passed it over to Rubik's. Great play, great tandem play, but they gotta get mixed up in the air there.
Yeah, Boom Quick just couldn't get that last touch, and now they get punished.
What?
Dragon in a slump in the right spot right there, but really that was a good job by Rip to steal that one away. And yeah, they went for the cheeky pass play in the air, going for an aerial pinch shot, and didn't really work out as a double commit for a shot. Does mean only one man on defense, and good job by WDB bots to find that opening kickoff. Near disaster right there. It was a bit of a fake kickoff, but Rubik's doesn't get that deeper punch off the ball.
Okay, I'm interested about both these teams so far. Looks like it does feel like SUPRMODE are kind of distracted coming into the game number two of this best of five series actually. And now super offensive coming in from WDB bots, trying to get the third goal in as we have 2 minutes left to be played. So there's still a lot of room for WDB bots to make mistakes and for SUPRMODE to capitalize on them. WDB bots are just not letting go. Look at this.
Yeah. That's going to be another goal. I feel like even on defense, Rubik's right now is just pushing too far forward time and time again. This time, he was starting to push forward to try and collect a pass, but the pass winds up behind him. That turns into a counterattack for WDB bots, and Rubik's isn't able to recover in time. So definitely a good showing from WDB bots, capitalizing on the defensive mistake right there out of SUPRMODE, who looked to be falling apart at the seams almost.
Did the teams change colors and we didn't notice, or because it feels like the players are playing on the opposites? I don't know. It's weird.
I kind of see what you're saying. It's very awkward when you go from 6 goals in a game to struggling to even get one right now. I mean, WDB bots, they've got 3 both games, so that's consistent. But yeah, SUPRMODE looking like a completely different team. They're playing a different style, and they're just struggling with the second round at it. Gooch going to go for a solo play off the wall. That's actually leads to a pass into Rubik's. And again, the pass plays are what works for them. Tries to redirect Mystic. The follow-through shot from Boom is there. And they do get 1 goal on the board. A minute left. 2 goals. Definitely doable.
Yes, it is. They played off of Mystic. Mystic couldn't quite clear it out completely, and they capitalized on it with Boom Quick coming in from the midfield to get it down. Now 3-1 on the scoreboard. It's still a retainable lead by WDB bots, and it is absolutely, like you said, 2 goals. I mean, still doable, but we'll have to wait and see how WDB bots played out. 50 seconds left.
Absolutely right now. I want to see a bit more of those passing plays coming from SUPRMODE. That's how they've been breaking up the defense. We them bots, they're not patient on defense. They're just going to commit for it. So when you go for those
Ooh.
solo plays, you're going to have to win that 50-50 right now.
Oh!
As Mystic, nice little flip reset right there, just can't quite find the goal.
Nope, and even Rip opened up the pass, opened up the path for him, getting the demo off the back of the defense there on SUPRMODE. We're going hyper aggressive. 20 seconds left on the clock. Rip again flying through the air, trying to get something off of it. Mystic gets a demo on Rubik's, who struggles to get back on track. Gooch now on the offense. They swap around, try to get the rotation going. It's Rubik's who tags it out. It seems to be game here. 3-1 on the board. And 5 seconds left for We Them Bots to make a play. They're on the offense. 1 second. They just need to let it touch the ground. The ball drops, and game number 2 goes in favor of We Them Bots.
We dem bots, we dem comebacks as well, and we dem good at scoring 3 goals a game. Dragon in a slump, he turned his game around from game 1 to game 2 right there. In that first round, he had some misses, he wasn't quite connecting, and sometimes found himself out of position, especially on defense. I would like watch his rotations, and he'd be like upside down and rolling and smashing into his own team. But game number 2, he was given some space to play with, and every time he had that ball with some space, he was putting the ball in fantastic spots. Complete opposite for SUPRMODE.
No, yeah, and
like,
you just had Rip running the disruption in the back. You saw Rip just ripping through the back line of SUPRMODE, getting demos and dwindling the numbers on the defense from 3 to 2, which facilitated the offense of We Them Bots by a lot.
yeah, and the thing as well, which I was like super impressed with Weedham bots, is they were starting to challenge a lot more, and they were really getting into SUPRMODE's face. I think they recognize SUPRMODE now, though. They're not going to be passing. They're going for these solo plays for whatever reason in the second game, even though when the passing plays were working for them. And in these 50s, Wheat and bots were winning a lot of them, and they were just turning that momentum back around, which was odd because they were always going to challenge. Like, even when SUPRMODE was passing, they were challenging the guy with the ball, not necessarily where the ball was going to go. It's why if SUPRMODE goes back to this passing game, I feel like they're going to have a lot of success because Wheat and bots, they're always going to go for that 1v1 play right now in SUPRMODE. They need to go back to the team play because the 1v1 game, it worked for them game 1, kind of. In game 2, it did not work for them at all.
And here we go, game number 3 of the series. It's tied. Now it's a best of 3 fundamentally, as Mystic already gets a first demo to open up the hostilities between We Them Bots and SUPRMODE.
If Rip got a bump right there, that would have been a goal. Dragon in a slump was willing to take that ball the distance. Unfortunately, Rip wasn't able to make contact with the defender, so we're playing a little back and forth ping pong right now. Boom Quick can't quite beat Rip to the ball right there, so again, back and forth we go. However, now we're seeing the pass plays, and that gets the defense off balance. 1v1, yet Mystic is able to make the save.
Good bump by Mystic as well to drop Boom Quick off the offense, and now Mystic's trying to regain control of that ball. Passes it over with Dragon in a slump. There's Boom Quick. Back on the defense, gets the ball rolling back onto the field of We Them Bots. Rubik's gets cut off there by Dragon in a slump, as Mystic now has a clear set for the goal, but he passes over to Rip, who gets cut off by Boom Quick.
The bumps coming out of Weedem bots have just been so quintessential to their success right now. Every time they follow through their play looking for someone to ram off the ball, if they don't see it, then they'll take that deeper rotation. The next man will go up for that 1v1 play, and really it just means that like when they do find that 1v1 and they get that win, they should have an open net. You can see it in the background. Rip, the ball's on the opposite end of the pitch, yet they're still rotating through and getting the bump or the demo each and every time.
So what you need to do, you reset the positioning of the players from SUPRMODE, and it's all that it takes to actually get the game in your favor. You saw the bump there on Boom Quick. Another demo. Gooch gets Dragon in a slump. Bounces it off the crossbar, tries to go for the shot, but Boom Quick gets tackled out by Rip.
It does look like, though, that SUPRMODE is starting to fall back onto the pass play attack right now. They're trying to use walls and backboards for the passes, and it is doing a semi-decent job in throwing Weedem bots off balance on defense. If it isn't for those bumps and demos, I feel like SUPRMODE would be having more success with these passes because a lot of these passes are open. The problem is the person there to receive it has been bumped or demoed. So very interesting game so far. Eventually, one of these strategies are going to break.
Let's see, it's still 0-0, and we already are getting close to the halfway mark of this third game of the series. As Boom Quick still tries to set up on the offense. Rubik crossbar. Gooch goes in, but a huge save. It's not enough. Gooch gets the score.
Unfortunately, Dragon in the slump can't get his, sixth miracle save in this series. This one does bounce off his car, but the top crossbar was not forgiving. I can understand why he went for it. Like every other shot off that top crossbar has gone out today. Finally, one does go in, and with that, it is a 1-0 lead for SUPRMODE.
But full offensive now from We Them Bots. Get a bump. Mystic cuts him off. Boom quick regains control of the ball. Rip in the air. Tries to get Mystic going, but Mystic kind of almost sets up for SUPRMODE. Rip goes airborne, gets the Dragon in the slump, takes down Gooch. It's now two players going for the offense, but nobody's in the back to defend from Rubik's.
Yeah, that was just a very, very unfortunate pinch if you are a fan of We Dem Bots right there. Rubik's in the right spot at the right time will just escort that one in. Finally, his deep play does pay off, but that pinch definitely not going the way that We Dem Bots was expecting at all.
2-0, 2 minutes left. Advantage favorable to SUPRMODE. We're now playing defense, trying to clear the ball off their side of the field. Pass over the Rubik's. Great play. What a huge goal. No! Goes off the crossbar.
Double commit. Double commit on defense. All what SUPRMODE has to do is get it down, but they're not quite fast enough as Boom Quick can't get there in time. Mystic able to make that save. That was a very scary situation for We Dem Bots. Let's see what they can do on the counterattack.
It's all controlled. They know what they're doing. They know the limits, and they're limit testing. But look at Rubik's. He's dribbling it through the air. Tries to get a reset. Doesn't quite get it. Mystic cuts the ball off, and Stricta gets a save. Goes in for the corner boost. Bump in from Boom Quick. Doesn't quite get the angle to put it inside the square.
Oof.
Huge save from Rip.
Yeah, that was a good shot right there.
Rip.
Oop. Okay. Dragon and Slump, though, stealing away. Again, that's that 1v1 play, and Dragon and Slump is actually going to take it all the way.
No, he's not!
How does he not score that? That was oh, that's so unfortunate for Dragon in the Slump. It was such a good play. He just can't quite get the ball in the net, and I feel like he makes that every other time he takes it.
Unfortunate. It's like game number 3 is cursed for the orange team here. He can't quite get it in, and they're so close every single time. Rip is in front of the ball again! Gets a shot off, but a great save from SUPRMODE.
I still can't get over that miss, unfortunately. Dragon in a Slump, I think, has been the most inconsistent player so far that we've seen today. Either he's making amazing saves, amazing touches, amazing goals, or he's missing open nets right now. He needs to find that consistency because he seems to be the X factor for this We Dem Bots team.
Ooh, well, at least he's still landing the demos. Yeah. Which gets cut off by Rip. Dragon in a slump, doesn't quite figure out that he is the one that needs to touch the ball there. Rip tries to go on the wall. He tried to cut off. What a huge pass, but Mystic again.
Yeah,
just an inch away.
The passing game from We Dem Bots really hasn't been the most accurate so far in this series. Granted, I don't feel that's their strengths. I think their strengths is going for these individual solo plays. As Dragon is slump, gets the flick, but can't quite flick it past over Gooch, and time will hit 0. It will be a win going over to SUPRMODE as finally the ball will touch the ground, but definitely an interesting game for sure. We saw more passing, more team play coming from the SUPRMODE side, and as a result, they do get themselves that victory.
It is true. I mean, again, game number 3. Is it? It's game number 3. No, wait.
Yes, that was game 3. That was game number 3. That was game 3. Trust your instincts, Fox.
Game number 3. Got it. Game number 1 was all about SUPRMODE. Game number 2 is all about We Them Bots. And now game number 3 seems to be back on SUPRMODE because, well, there seems to be a gap in concentration here between these players that sometimes they're in the zone and they do everything right, but the next game they're just not feeling it again and everything is back to square one. And well, it turns out that SUPRMODE right now are in match point. Can We Them Bots take the full length of the series? Absolutely. Will they be able to take it in game 4? Something we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think, again, the momentum going back to SUPRMODE's side comes back to 2 considerable factors. 1, they went back to the passing game, and 2, Dragon in a slump kind of fell back into a slump at times, and Mystic, who was phenomenal actually in the first couple games, kind of disappeared in game number 3. So I feel We Dem Bots, they have the mechanical prowess. They can definitely challenge, but maybe they need to be a bit more patient on that defense. Maybe sit back and recognize, oh, they're going to go for a pass, so I go for the intercept, as opposed to assuming they're going to go for the solo play, just because we always go for the solo play. That does seem to be their MO, solo play, solo play, solo play, and that's great and all, but especially later in this league when they start going up against tougher teams,
Yeah.
who actually can pass the ball quite frequently and maybe rely on the passing play, that could be a very disastrous situation for We Them Bots.
Yes, it could, but at the same time, it might be a matter of adaptation. We're seeing this game we're seeing this game after we saw Canyons versus EC4. This game feels a little bit more sluggish when it comes to actual mechanical prowess and team coordination, but maybe that's just a byproduct of the match that they're up against in this case. I do feel like both these teams have something to say, and I do
Mhm.
think that SUPRMODE seem to be the strongest team when it comes to actual consistency. But who knows? Maybe they step up the game if they go up against the likes of Canyons, for example, or maybe they'll slow down their pace once they go up against the likes of For the Win.
Yeah, I can see both of these things happening for Supermode. They definitely seem to be a team that almost like plays at the level of their opponents, and that can maybe sort of explain some of their results in the past. For We Dem Bots as well, something that I am recognizing for this team is mechanically they are fantastically gifted in this. Some of the shots that they're going for are really spectacular, as well as some of like the challenges in 50-50s. However, I was still not really seeing that team cohesion and this sort of like solo queue or solo play mentality can only get you so far in a league, and eventually you will be found out and exposed. So I want to see not only if they're able to adapt throughout the course of this league, but if they're able to adapt in this series. Maybe they can turn more of those passing plays on. Now they were going towards them a bit at the end of game three. The shots as a result, they were there, but they weren't accurate. These are things that can improve with practice.
Yes. And they'll have plenty of time to practice because it's just week one of the Iberian League. But the thing is, they have to put in the hours for the practice. They need to coordinate their team to actually get in the practice, get into scrims. I think scrims are more important than just solely practice, to be honest.
Mhm.
Um, get the scrims going against these teams, know what they're up against, know how they play, and how to play against the team. So it's up to the team managers or the actual players to go out of their way to get these scrims going and get the play that they need in order to improve their game style throughout the league.
Can I just do a throwback real quick to that interview we had with the Canyons before?
Yeah,
I think
sure.
they almost discovered a new scrim partner at the end of that game, to be perfectly honest. Just the sort of how they were reacting at the end of that. I
Yeah.
think EC4 has impressed them, and I wouldn't be surprised if those two teams might start working together behind the scenes. Um, and that's a side effect of leagues like this and tournaments like this. We it is sometimes a bit of a coming together, and we want to see scenes grow and teams improve by working together at the end of the day. So I do hope that is the beginning of a fun team relationship right there.
Yes. Let's hope they don't get too close to each other because we still want the fair competition to come through. Come
Oh look,
on.
they've played against each other now, and unless they wind up against each other in the playoffs, well, it should be all green pastures, right?
One can hope.
One can,
One
yeah,
can
but
only
yeah,
hope.
definitely. And then brothers will turn against each other once we hit our semifinals and finals and fight like all good brothers should. That said, it looks like we are getting right back
To
onto
the
the pitch
death.
for game number 4. It is 2-1 in favor of Super Mode. Will they be able to take it right now, or will it start to go back the other way?
We'll see. Match point. They already are on the aggressive. They have ball control so far, and the Cowboy is trying to get a shot in, but Rubix doesn't quite manage to get the height needed to punt the ball into the goal.
It's definitely looking like no crazy kickoff goals just yet, but that
Oh,
offensive
yes, it
pressure
is!
double clutch is going to be good for the side of Super Mode. I was expecting the pass, but he passed it to himself. Doesn't connect on the shot, but the man who I thought he was going to pass it to, boom, was there to collect the ball at the end of the day, and he does get the goal. Interesting setup. Wasn't expecting that, but still a fantastic goal nonetheless.
Fantastic goal, absolutely. Rubix, he was looking for the airborne play from the start of the game, but he finally found it on the second offensive play of Super Mode. Now they're playing on the defensive. Dragon in a slump is doing his best to get the ball rolling, get a play, go and set up a play for his team. Doesn't quite find it. Boom, quick now on the offense, gets matched up by a Goose, or Gooch in this case. He goes in for the play. Ball's airborne once again. Rubix finds it, goes off the ceiling into the goal. Tries to go for a shot, but it's the defense on Dragon in a slump. Managed to clear it out.
I almost think Rip right now is just chasing down and looking to destroy anything that is blue in color. I'm just watching him bump anyone he gets near. That said, though, he's not able to get the bump onto Gooch, who's going to go ahead and punish an unfortunate touch right there from Rip. He couldn't get into the corner. The ball's not blue. That's why he didn't hit it hard, and it's a good job from SUPRMODE in order to punish.
Absolutely. I mean, I guess you can already assign the role of disruptor to Rip here from We Them Bots. As 2-0 on the board right now. Setting up good, but we still have 3 minutes and 40 seconds left on the board, so there's still a lot of games to be played. And once again, SUPRMODE are very, very hard in the offensive here.
Again, though, I always love players who go for bumps and are very bump centric. The player who I always lead to, I think does it very well, at least in the Oceanic region, goes by the handle of Kami. He plays for the Renegades. He is probably my favorite player to watch because not only will he get the good touch in setting up the pass for his team, but then he'll follow it up by demoing or bumping the key member on the opposing team to set up. Like, he does all the work for the goal, and then CJ or Siki just steal all the credit. That said, Rubix is going to steal all the credit for this goal right here as he shows off in style at the back end of it.
Look at that, Cowboy. Nobody even tries to go for the ball. Complete discoordination from We Them Bots on the defense here, and Rubix just scores an easy goal off the rebound from Gooch.
I mean, they weren't expecting that tight of an offensive rotation. Like, heck, I wasn't even expecting that tight of an offensive rotation right there. He just comes from out of nowhere and gets the angle to smack that one in. That said, though, same old for We Them Bots. They're going for demos, but Rubix is just going to demo right back. Boom, quick, trying to slow the pace down. Gooch will follow through. He's going to go up, takes the shot, but Dragon in a Slump is there to stop him.
And now it's Rip Airborne getting the touch on the ball. Dragon in the Slump goes for the goal, bounces off the bar. Dragon in the Slump on the offense, but he doesn't quite go for the ball.
Oh, he's kind of playing a bit further back, a bit surprising right there. This is going to lead to an attack from SUPRMODE right now, who, honestly, they have been very, very good with their offensive rotations for the most part in this game. Dragon and Slump actually has been really the only one to find those gaps and turn things back around, but hasn't been willing to follow through, it feels like. That's the second time he's fallen back as opposed to looking for that next touch. Uncharacteristic of this orange team, and it's starting to bite them a bit.
Let's see how hard it's going to bite them because it's already 3-0. They're trying to go for a play. Mystic solo plays a goal to open up the scoreboard for his team.
Yeah, again, it was Rip with the setup right there, but Mystic is the one who gets the dunk and then puts the ball into the back of the net. Great play right there from Mystic. He's been kind of silent since game number 1, but now he is back, and he's back to get his team back on the board. Still a lot of work needs to be done by the bots, but they're on the right track, at least for now. However, Boom Quick is going to turn back to the offensive pressure.
Dragon into the Slump doing, again, fantastic work on the defense. Mystic now there to help out, and Rip gets the ball cleared out of their side of the field. But they're not setting up an offense. They're just clearing it out for the time being. Immediately, SUPRMODE get back on the offense, take control of the ball, almost score a goal, but a miracle defense from Mystic is going to prevent him the 4th goal.
Boom Quick also nearly finds it, but Rip still doing a good job protecting the net. Rubix, backboard set up for Boom Quick. The defense did jump, but the fall-through shot wasn't there, and Rip was able to rotate back around. Actually, will pass it forward to Dragon and Slump, who's looking to throw it back to Mystic, but the shot not quite there. And again, these are these team plays coming out from We Them Bots. They're there, but they're always a little bit too slow, and the defense from SUPRMODE was able to stop it.
Okay, now a little bit of this coordination, but it's enough. It doesn't matter how uncoordinated they are. It's enough to get the ball rolling into the box of SUPRMODE.
So it was a double commit, and Rip doing what Rip does best and bumping that third defender completely out of the play so you can't even see him. Really, the double commit was what cost the goal right there, and that's very surprising because I thought SUPRMODE's communication was starting to clean up. However, maybe they're feeling a bit confident with their lead. I'm not too sure, but now they're only 1 goal away from giving up a 3-0 head start in this game number 4.
All right, 1 minute left on the board. Ball's heading towards We Them Bots. Great defense by Dragon in a Slump. Boom Quick comes in for the rebound. Doesn't quite get it. Gooch strikes it in the general direction of the goal. But now it's a respawn from We Them Bots.
Oh, that's a good clear right there from Gooch. Rip able to catch it, but doesn't quite get the challenge he's looking for. Boom Quick going to try and drop the ball. Didn't get the double touch he was looking for. That would have been lethal. Gooch, however, good midfield play. Will keep that offensive pressure there. However, with only 30 seconds to go, it's starting to turn into do or die for We Them Bots. Rip with the setup has it stolen away.
Trying to set up a play. The fourth goal to make sure that they're safe, but another miracle save by Mystic is going to safeguard the current scoreboard. 3-2. They need to get a goal if they want to get into overtime. Mystic's already on the offensive. He gets a bump in the direction of the SUPRMODE's goal, but they're tightening up the defense. They know their win condition, and they're making sure that they get it. They want to get one last goal. The ball's still airborne, and we're out of time. No, still airborne, and it's still a goal.
If only that had been going the other way, we would have had our first 0-second overtime goal. However, it's just running up the points right there for SUPRMODE. Great pass for Boom, and he will make the ball go boom right into that back of the net. SUPRMODE take the series 3-1. They do so semi-convincingly. Definitely a very interesting series, a very sloppy series for these two teams. However, it is still a win well-deserved for this blue side.
Absolutely. I mean, SUPRMODE, at the end of the day, they only felt inconsistent in game number 2, where WDB actually managed to catch them off guard. But as soon as they managed to adapt to this more erratic play style by WDB, I mean, it was just basically SUPRMODE running circles around WDB.
Yeah, it definitely felt that way. Now, there's still a lot I like that Weed and Bots were doing, but until they get their team play down packed, I feel like a lot of these games might be similar where you'll get these moments of brilliance, especially individual brilliance. Mystic had some great flicks. So did Dragon. Rip with those bumps and demos was actually quintessential for the team coming and working together. However, SUPRMODE just felt like the more complete team. They had the individual play. They also had pass plays. They also were a lot more consistent with keeping maintained offensive and at times defensive rotations. SUPRMODE just felt more like a team that has been trialed and has been in this competitive scene and environment for longer, which ironically, or unironic, really, but truthfully,
Yeah,
that's actually the case. So that game did kind of play out to what I was expecting.
absolutely. So another result that we predicted correctly. I'm gonna say correctly. We haven't had a clean sweep today yet.
No.
But the teams that we expected to win have been coming through. The closest game we've had so far today was the first series before the win in GTZ Bulls. So I'm curious to see if that was a clash between two great teams, or if these teams are actually below the average expected of the general tournament. So I have to wait and see for further iterations of the tournament to know if the teams are going to step up their game and if they're going to be able to beat the top tier teams like the Canyons or even EC4. But until now, we have an interview coming in.
Yeah, I believe it is going to be Gooch coming in on the winning side right there of SUPRMODE. And Gooch, congratulations, first of all, on a win well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you.
You
Jesus.
sound happy.
No, I've nothing to say. I don't really know what just happened, to be honest. I don't have a clue what just happened.
What do you mean?
Oh.
What did not go according to plan?
Well, I mean, that whole game, I was there's no words. I was too confused, to be honest. I'm more excited for my next match than this one. Let's just say that.
So I'm right in my assessment of that game coming straight out of it. Just like, well, that was a sloppy game of Rocket League that felt like it belonged more in necessarily climbing in the solo queue ladder than we never see the tournament.
That's exactly what it felt like. Just a high intense ranked match, you know?
Yes. That said, however, I know something that we picked up on quite quickly in terms of Weed and Bots was their dedication for going to a bump or a demo after every play, no matter the situation. How did you guys like figure that out and then start to adapt to it and almost punish them for it?
Oh boy. Well, I mean, the first man just he went for the ball knowing he was going to miss, and he obviously just called to his second man saying he's going for a bump. So it kind of worked out better because basically the second man was ready for it, so they beat us to it a lot and scored a lot from it. That's mainly the only reason they scored from their bump plays. We just got to follow up as a second man. Really, that's all we did. We just played fast. It's literally a ranked match. It's hard to win in ranked. Just you play fast. You play fast. You win the game.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, do you think that your playstyle is going to be adapted to future matches, or are you going to retain this solo queue type strategy?
Oh, no. We have much better strategies going into a high level game. I'd like to say, because I feel like the next game we got planned is a much more high level game. and we can play
Alright,
more like we normally do.
So
Okay.
what I'm getting and what you're saying from this one is like, look, you're happy you won, but please don't judge us based on that game. There's so many better things in the future. Is that what
Yeah.
I'm understanding?
Yeah. We could do so
Excellent.
much better.
I guess me and Max are absolutely looking forward to see you guys do better. Congratulations on your 3-1 win, regardless of how good or bad you performed. Hopefully, we'll get to see better shows in the future, but you still managed to score 3 points and tie up with 4 to win in Canyons.
Thank you.
So that being said, however, me and Max are going to take a short break, and so are the teams and, the audience as well, before we head into our last series of this afternoon. So please bear with us. We'll be right back with you.
But what can I do? 'Cause I'm just a